Hi everyone, let's welcome again to Talk About Life. Hi, thank you everyone for tuning in to Talk About Life from podcast, YouTube, and Instagram. And today we've got this very special panel. We've got Debbie. She's the author of For the Children with Love. CEO Valt, that's her name. And she's got a series of books coming up about abuse, and she herself was an abuse therapist. So therefore, I'm so honored to have her on this show together with me to give her opinion about today's topic about love in the tech age. And I've also got the wonderful celebrity doctor, Dr. Mobi, and you know, he is the #1 podcast in the US, and we've got 6 million podcasters all over the world. Can you imagine he's voted #1 in the US? So thank you so much, Dr. Mobi. So today about love in a tech age. So Dr. Mobi, you know, we're all in this world of technology. So the backdrop of this is, first of all, in this question, does it make it any easier or harder for Debbie and Dr. Mobi, you know, as time goes by? Without any mention of the age, but you know, as time goes by, as someone matures, you've formed your mind, your view of the world, your political views, your political inclinations, faith, etc. Does it make anyone harder to actually get a compatible companion under one roof? Let's have the lady first.
Yeah.
Well, first I need to say that I'm not a therapist. I was an assessment worker, so I'm not a therapist. I want to clarify that. I think with age comes with wisdom, and we learn to know ourselves so much more and know exactly what we want in a relationship and a partner. And I think we tend to set our standards higher as we age.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Mobi?
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you for inviting me, and it's been always pleasure meeting both of you, and I think you're doing a wonderful job. And this is another feather in your cap, you know.
What do you think it's harder for anyone, especially a man, to find a compatible, any man, you know, to find someone compatible as someone grows wiser or more kind of, they have their own political view of the world?
You know, I think with times, it's actually equally same in terms of, you know, difficulties for men and women, you know, because, you know, times have changed, you know, so if you look at, you know, so women are more independent, which is great thing, because there was a time where they were kind of thinking, oh, maybe our life ends at certain age. Okay. So now that is out of the window. So now, which I see mostly, they are very well independent, confident, they're working on their career, all great things. They're not really dependent on anyone. Okay. And I think this is such a great thing for anyone, whether it's a man or woman. Okay. Then there is also, you know, because we are in a kind of very different age with the relationships, times have changed, and you don't have to now go out and meet someone. I mean, you can be on social media, and then you can really know a lot about that person. And, you know, but there's a good and bad about both. You know, there are, unfortunately, some people would take advantage of that system, and they will post things in it which they are not, right? And then you have some kind of, you know, these internet marriages or kind of dates, blind dates, And then I think that ends up with the problem. On the other hand, these also opened up it were really nice avenues for all of us pretty much. Look at, I think I was reading about our current vice president, Kamala Harris. And, she said how she met was on Google. She Googled pretty much. About she, so basically what I'm saying is that there's always pros and cons for both. For men, it's not same thing as, for women, probably they have a more social gathering, or in terms of their at least ability to connect. Men tend to be a little bit more reserved, right?
Reserved.
So then, so you could have, so in my opinion, girl or women, they have more friends. Okay.
Okay, and I think Dr. Mobi talked about technology. I thought something would be so apt to actually bring this in. Technology is a double-edged sword, right?
Yeah.
You can meet someone, and there's a saying, it seems that technology has shortened a lot of things and made things faster, and yet we find that we got less time. I think that's such a saying there. I want to know, like, do you think it is easier for anyone beyond just texting, meeting someone, to really have a real relationship, just being on like Zoom? Is it possible to really develop something like that from like a Zoom event, from like a match.com? Do you think it's possible, Debbie or Dr. Mobi?
I mean, I'm sure that it is. And I remember years ago when I think it was MySpace or something was out, and when it first all the social media started, and I had a friend who, she met her future husband in a chat room, and they lived in different states. They talked for a while. They finally met. They're married. They have children. They're happy. So I do think it's possible. I feel like technology tends to cause a lot of problems in a relationship. I think texting, you cannot get out emotions and feelings in texting, and things can be taken so wrong. Yeah. And I also think with all the technology around, it hurts the trust in a relationship. I can tell you personally, I don't check my husband's cell phone. We don't have passcodes. He's welcome to look at mine. I can look at his. Neither one of us do, because we trust each other. But I know so many people who check their spouse's cell phones and like look into it because of the trust factor. There's just so much out there. It makes it very hard to keep the intimacy when you're involving everybody on Facebook in your relationship. Does that make sense?
What about Dr. Mobi?
Yeah, no, I think she has a great point. I have seen both ways too. Like me and my wife, she can check. I mean, she knows all my passcode and everything. It doesn't matter really. So, so she can check anytime, and I also know hers. And so, do we check? Not really, because there's a mutual trust, and but there are couples which I know they have kind of different lives, and they have different passwords for different things. Okay, I know that there are people which and then there are same for men and female both. Okay, but the question is I think we have to go by always the majority, or what is the main trend, or what is the main thing. Most of people have trust in each other, so they will take you for face value, and then they will trust you. Can people cheat? Yes, absolutely. Anyone can cheat. Humans are the worst in that aspect. They try to cheat or do bad things. Unfortunately, they can go to all extremes. But in my opinion, we should just go by language of love. We should believe in love. That's what I do. And I always say, believe in love. Yes, there are people who have given bad name to love. Yes, absolutely. But still, we should believe in good things and love. That's my philosophy.
Yeah. In your experience, Debbie and Dr. Mobi, you know, I'm sure all of us have got some past experience, maybe even in the teenage years. What do you think are the critical success factors of a relationship? We've mentioned about trust. Besides that, what kind of factors are conducive for a success? And what kind of factors will make a relationship fail? Dr. Mobi?
Okay, but thank you for asking me. But I think like we all learn, so I think we all have also, I think, ability to connect and also kind of explore. These are all human natures. So when I remember, I my current, of course, my wife was not my first friend. So, but this is normal that that you find or you think that other person is your person you admire or like, one way or the other, and that might not last long, because it has to have some kind of concrete basis, and or there's a chemistry, I always say. So
Chemistry.
yeah, and then there's some, it's we have a saying, actually we have a belief in our religion and everything, is that there's a soulmate for you already decided and made in heaven. Okay.
Mm.
So it's already written. Your destiny is written. So, and everyone has it, when they will meet and how that happens, that remains to be the mystery. Okay. So basically the lesson from that is, do not lose your patience. Just be
Do not lose
yourself.
patience.
Yeah, do not lose your patience, be yourself. So then you will find someone. So my wife, she's professional, she's a physician, and she tells me, all her friends used to say, oh, why are you going for career and everything, because it's hard to date somebody when they become very independent and so forth. But she said, doesn't matter, because if I am destined to meet someone, I mean, she belongs from different country than I do, and we would have never ever met if I wasn't in US. So, so that is destiny, you know. So we did residency together, and then yeah.
Is there any failure factors, Dr. Mobi, that you think these are so critical that actually they contribute to it breaks the deal? Is there any factors that you can see that actually can actually destroy your relationship?
I think yes, that's very good question. So things which can also build and can also destroy. So those are very similar. Look, so that is the honesty. So if you become
Dishonest.
dishonest, that's gonna really destroy everything you stand for. So
Debbie,
so mhm.
Debbie, is there
Happy, but
anything you want to contribute and also ask Dr. Mobi anything?
Well, I mean, I definitely agree with Dr. Mobi. The way my husband and I met was odd. We knew each other. There's a 16-year difference in age between us. So we're the odd couple, I guess. But it's funny because I think trust is the number one factor in a relationship. And for us, for my husband and I, we like to laugh, and we're very simple people. So to find someone that you're alike, we can sit on the porch and say nothing for hours and be completely happy. Neither one of us are into going out. We don't have huge groups of friends, and that's just not our interest. We like our animals and our simple life. And that's, I think that is really has been the key for us. And we support each other's successes. And I'm sure with Dr. Mobi having, his wife is also a physician, you have to be very supportive of each other's successes and understanding of failures. And so we really do that in our relationship. And, you know, when I said I want to write a book and be an author, he said, well, go ahead and do it. I'll do whatever you need me to do and help. And it was just, you know, walking that path together with the same expectations. So, you know, I do agree with Dr. Mobi. We have that soulmate. It took me a while to find him, but we are just so much alike. And I have to tell you, and it's kind of funny that when it came time to get married, we're sitting on the front porch drinking our coffee, and it was like, you know, well, what do we want to do? So we put it out on Facebook and said, hey, we're having a cookout. We'll supply hot dogs and hamburgers. You can bring a side dish. And by the way, we're going to get married at some point in the evening. And that's what we did. We had a marriage in our front yard. Our son-in-law married us. So, you know, very simple people, and that makes our life very simple.
And you know, there are two things always, you know, my wife, we are, I think there are some similarities, and then there is some not so simple. So, you know, of course, I am in showbiz now. I was never before. But my wife is media shy, and she's always shy of cameras and so forth. She would never want to do even anything but any pictures with me. That's all she would do. But we are different but I mean, I think there is always a question: does opposite attract or similar kind of? You know, I say it doesn't matter. It matters on the chemistry. Okay, so me and my wife, we are opposite on many things, and which is good. But because we have trust, because we respect each other's opinion, so you can be totally different than me, and you can say no, and I say that. But I say yes. I listen, and at least why she or he is saying no, or at least give them space to say that what they want to do. So that is important. It doesn't matter, you have to have. So when I think a lot of dating sites have these compatibility check and so forth. I don't know. If I would have taken that, I would have failed. So
Well, and what I'm hearing is that, you know, with you and your wife, even though you're very opposite, and there are things about my husband and I that we're also very different. I mean, he would never want to do what I'm doing right now, or he doesn't even enjoy reading. So there's that. But you respect each other. You know, I'm sure that she respects what you're doing, and with your music and with your podcast, and I think respect is huge. I'm always, you know, and I guess in past relationships, I understood, you know, we argued, we fought, we did all of that kind of stuff. And now as I've gotten older and in the relationship that I have now, we don't argue because we're adults. So we sit and we discuss, we respect each other's opinion. We agree to disagree sometimes. And we move forward. There's no arguing, yelling, screaming. There's none of that because we respect each other. So I think along with trust being so important, so is respect.
yeah, so those are the boundaries. If you keep things in the boundaries. If I mean, everybody should have discussion. They should have a difference of opinion. They should voice their thoughts, but remain within a boundary. It's like if you want to play it on the playground. Do not play outside. So that's it. So our playground should be our bedroom, our house, and nothing goes beyond that. Nobody goes beyond. So the castle of your love relationship everything, emotions should be that, my
Yeah.
opinion. As long as you two agree on that, you can have any difference of opinion, and you can, should be, I mean, it's not natural, normal perspective. I mean, I could tell you, my wife always sees very different angle than I do, everything, which is her nature. But there's nothing wrong with that, because that's how she's unique about that, and I have different view. These are normal, I think. But I think what really intrigues me is that with technology, modern age, you think that the relationship would be better off or durable or long lasting and so forth. It's actually opposite. So the divorce rates are going up. A lot of people decide not to marry. They remain single. So the question is, this technology age and this age, is that for real? I mean, if you look at our parents and grandparents, I mean, they didn't have social media, right? But they had more everlasting relationships. So the question is, what are we missing in this age? Uh, you know, So I think that's what I think is a big dilemma. So maybe some of the views or things or which we see on social media are not real. You know, they are not. They are pretending to say things to impress, but they are not real.
And I think that with technology and what I see with younger people, they don't know how to have a conversation. Like they're so used to texting and everything going through technology. And even my daughter who lives in the basement, I'll say, hey, put that load of laundry in when you go downstairs. And she says, well, text it to me. I won't remember. It's like you're walking down the stairs. You could remember this, but you want me to text it to you. This is crazy. But I mean, everything is through a text. And I hear it from my parents who say, the grandkids don't ever call. They'll send us a text. It's because they don't know how to talk on the phone. Well, if you can't even talk on the phone, how are you going to talk in a relationship when everything is going through that technology? And I really think technology has hurt a lot of relationships, in my opinion.
And that is true. So if you look at, I have seen a household where two daughters or two sons or whatever, they will sit in the same car by side, but will not talk. They will keep texting each other. So I have seen that, yes, and that has really hurt. I have seen that also in kids, when they're learning the language. The very young kids, they're very good with computers and phones, so they know even now. Age 3, I have a nephew. He can probably text me all that, but they would not talk. Their speech is delayed. Okay, so their speech capability is very delayed, and that is really hurting. Same way relationship, like she said, she talked to her daughter and say, but she rather get a text and so forth. I think we'll see time when they'll say I do on texting, not even talk on the marriage.
That's sad.
You will see that. That'll be coming soon in a new series. They will say, "Oh, I do. I didn't get your text card." So that's gonna happen.
Well, before technology and TV and Netflix and Hulu and all the media that we had, people sat and talked and had conversations. And now you sit in front of a television set or sit and watch the Netflix series all day or whatever. And I'm not saying that my husband and I don't sit and watch TV. We do, but not a lot. And we're completely content that we can sit on the front porch and talk for hours or not talk at all and just enjoy each other's presence. And I think that technology has really gotten in the way of a lot of relationships, whether it's husband, wife, or children, or grandparents, or whatever.
So I think I think the missing point is, they need to give time to to each other. Like you said, you could be sitting next to each other, and then so the tolerance is another thing, forgiving tolerance and forget things. So everybody should have short memory, not demented, but should have short memory on everything pretty much. Whether so, so that is very important. If you carry your grudges next
True.
days and days, that is hard.
Yeah. I like to have to bring Debbie and Dr. Mobi to this other question. In with your experience in your relationship, and you've got people around you. I mean, I've got people around you mature. Um, they are trying to seek a companion in a union, in a relationship, either married or not, but in a stable relationship. So my question is, does that view of the world, something I mentioned before, makes it harder for someone to come into your life? As someone becomes established, there's different phases of life, right? There is you work in your career, you work so hard and you neglect certain parts of your life, especially for a woman. And in my past interviews with a couple of women, they have neglected a good part of their lives because they're very well educated, like what Dr. Mobi says, independent. So they thought they could live their lives alone until they hit a certain age. They think, hey, I think I missed out. So when they realize that they missed out in building a relationship, honestly, there is certain kind of anxiety that is unspoken, right? Man or woman, when they feel that they've missed out. So at that particular stage, they've built their careers, and they have this kind of formed the view of the world, their values, the things that they bring on with them. Do you think it is harder? Because it is, yes, definitely wiser. Does it build a higher expectation for them to have someone to come into their lives? Or is it the other way, that they make it easier? That, okay, I think I'm more realistic now. In the past, I was thinking of Tom Cruise, but now I better come back to the earth. What do you think? Does it make it easier or harder? Dr. Mobi?
Yeah, it's not easier or harder. It's, I think, same. So it is your, like you said, somebody could be, looking for a Mr. Right, and then they could have Mr. Right next to them, but they never value, or they didn't look at their way, or they never thought that fits their model. So what I always say, if you have a kind of preconceived idea that you're going want this in a person, or this, it is, nobody might not fit 100%. If they fit very good, but to find that, I think it's like, I say go reverse, say, or believe that you have a soulmate, which I believe sincerely everybody has. Whether when you'll find or how you'll find is a matter of time, yes, but just be yourself and you will be fine. Now, if you have Mr. Right definition and you want to explore that, you're welcome to do that. But remember also that, that might increase your anxiety, because, it is like finding, in my opinion, it is like winning a lotto. Okay. You
Lottery.
can buy as many tickets as you want, whether you'll really win a lotto. You and I know all of them, but Debbie also knows. You can buy as many tickets, but how many times we won lotto? Very, very realistically, very less. Okay, so it's like same, in my opinion, those chances. On the other hand, if you save some of those money instead of buying lotto, and you would have made somewhere. So same in relationship. If you had made some progress on that, finding or believing in soulmate, and you would have gone somewhere. or found some. But whether you will really find a lotto, yeah, there are people who win lotto too. But, then another question is whether that is the right person. I mean, if there could be a question that I might think that, that person is right for me. But that was in my dreams only. When you have a compatibility and all this testing, like Debbie was saying, that you could be next to each other and not talk for hours. And that test, when you do that test, whether that person will pass or not, that's yet to be seen, right? So in my opinion, you're absolutely in a wrong way, going in a really wrong way. That's my philosophy. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I think that it doesn't matter how old we are when we get into a relationship, we as people change all the time. There are just certain things that are going to change, whether it's you decide on a different career or you're going to have family trauma or things that change the dynamics of your relationship all the time. So for me, I personally think that if you have that trust and you have that belief in the other person, you can truly just get through anything. It's a commitment. It's that we're in it forever and we're gonna make it work, and there's no backing out. We've made divorce so easy these days that it needs to be there, that no backing out. I have a slight obsession with the Amish community. I love the Amish people. I think there's so much neat things about them. And I was reading a book one time about Amish values, and the interviewer had asked an old Amish couple who had been married for 60 years what the secret was. What is the secret to 60 years of marriage? And both of them looked very confused. And finally, the man said, nobody died. I mean, when they said I do forever, they meant forever. Neither one are dead, so they're still married. That's just how it works. So I think it's that having that joint commitment and having that trust in each other is what's going to see a relationship through. Jim and I have both changed in our relationship over the years, and good or bad or different, it doesn't matter. We're still in it to win it, and we're going to stick by each other through it all. So I honestly think if you have those common core values, then you can make it through anything.
So I'd like to pose a final question as conclusion to Dr. Mobi. Dr. Mobi, and also Debbie, in 1 minute, realistically in a relationship, it takes so much to make it work every day. At what point, people are giving it up. People are giving up easily, like what Debbie was saying. At what point should people really feeling that they're going to push through that boundary? At what point do you think people do want to give up, or it is not worthwhile to invest anymore? Is there such a point? Is there such a threshold, Dr. Mobi?
I'm always believer of no. There's no threshold that you should give up. And even, I mean, if you should, or like I said, I'm a kind of this person who always believes that things can happen late, and they do actually happen, and maybe better for you or both. Maybe somebody is not as mature to handle that, and so maybe there's a higher power, I always believe, than us, which actually knows what is better for you or me. Okay.
Debbie?
So that's what my belief is.
Debbie, the last 30 seconds.
I think unless it becomes abusive. I think if there's physical abuse or some type of abuse that a person needs to get out. But short of that, I think that if possible, just remember the friendship. Remember the friendship that started it all, and go back to that and work towards more.
Thank you so much, Debbie and Dr. Mobi, for this wonderful talk. I mean, we need honest talk out there. And I think we should revisit about family values. I hope that one day, very soon after my February special, we can revisit family values and talk about families, relationships within the families. So reconciliation is something that I hope people can talk about and share. How do they reconcile broken relationships? Thank you once again, Dr. Mobi and Debbie, all over the world, from Singapore with love. Stay safe. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.